Today's message is about when God sends you somewhere that you don't want to go. Sometimes in life, we have to do things that we really don't want to do. We have to have tough conversations that we really don't want to have. We have to take responsibility for certain things that we don't really want to do. Or you may have to step into a position that you've never been in before, right? Jonah in the Bible went through the exact same thing. God told Jonah to go preach in the city of Nineveh. Jonah did not want to go. As a matter of fact, he was scared to death of going to the city because the city had a bad reputation. They were into a lot of negative, bad things, like heavy witchcraft, a lot of crime. They were lawless. It was a lawless city. It was very godless there. So Jonah didn't want to go. He didn't want to go to that city in any way, form, or fashion. But the Lord wanted to save the people of Nineveh. So he decided to use Jonah. Jonah ran the opposite direction. He was trying to avoid that assignment, He didn't want to deal with it. He didn't want to deal with the backlash. Any problems that he may have moving forward. Or just any drama. He just didn't want to do it. The Lord wanted Jonah to go to Nineveh and stand before the city and preach his word. But Jonah didn't want to do it. Because Jonah ran the opposite direction, guess what happened? If you know the story, drop it in the comments as to what happened. He ended up in the belly of a great fish. Because he didn't obey God. Very dark in there. Not so comfy in there. That's where he ended up at. He had to stay in the belly of that great fish until he surrendered. Yep. The truth is, avoiding what we're called to do, it doesn't make life easier. Not at all. It actually makes it harder for us. Running from responsibility, ignoring truth, or delaying obedience will cause more struggle in your life. I'm going to give you some examples of what that can look like in our lives in 2025. It might look like making sacrifices that feel uncomfortable, regardless to what that may be. Right? You're sacrificing to someone that you don't want to really sacrifice to. And in the inside of you, you're thinking, why am I doing this? You're not enjoying what you're telling the person you want to do for them, this sacrifice. Also, it can look like showing up for family that you don't really want to show up for. You may not get along with your family. You may not get along with, your mom, your dad, your cousins, and you showing up for them, trying to be there for them, and it's working against you because you're feeling horrible on the inside about it. Or it could be that you're on a job you're not happy with anymore, but you still keep going there. So those are some examples of what that can look like for us. Jonah didn't really want to go to Nineveh. He ran and ran and ran. He tried to ignore God as much as he could. But when he did go, and when he did begin to preach, it actually worked in his favor. He ended up saving an entire city. Yes, he saved the city. And that's why God sent him there. Sometimes the very thing that we don't want to do could be the exact same thing that God will use to bless others with. Yep. And also, even it could bless you too. Yeah. So today, remember, don't run from your assignment. Don't run from the process. Surrender. Push through the discomfort. God has purpose on the other side of your I don't want to.